Hey folks, welcome back. I'm going to show you how to add a form to your WordPress website, whether it's a business website or e-commerce store, something like this, where if a user or a customer enters their details and enters a message and submits that, the user is going to see a confirmation message that the form was successfully submitted, and you can actually manage this to say whatever you want it to say. I'm going to show you how. And then simultaneously, you as the business owner are going to receive an email with that information that the user sent, and you'll be able to reply directly to them. By the way, this is just an example form, the one that I showed you. You can have any type of layout you want. First name, phone number, checkboxes, radio buttons, dates. Your form fields are completely customizable. So I'm going to show you right now the best way to add a form to your WordPress website. We're going to follow 4 simple steps. We're going to install the Ninja Forms plugin. We're then going to add the form to any page on the WordPress website. So this can be done anywhere. And then I'm going to show you how to add the form to a section using Elementor. And now if you use one of our previous tutorials on setting up a WordPress business site or a store, an e-commerce store, you'll know what Elementor is and how flexible that is. So I'm going to show you that. And then most importantly, some of the important settings, such as how to make fields mandatory, how to make sure they're sending to the right email address, etc., etc. So let's get cracking. So let's start with step 1 to adding a form to your WordPress website. We're going to install the Ninja Forms plugin. So let's go down to plugins and click on add new. We're going to search for Ninja Forms. This is the one here. So let's install and activate that plugin. It's a really cool, easy to use forms plugin, this one for WordPress. It allows you to do a few things and customizations, and I'll show you that in a second. And activate. Okay, there we go. Now we just need to scroll down and we need to look for Ninja Forms in your sidebar. Here it is. So let's click there. We're going to firstly delete the default form that exists. So let me just edit and delete. Let's get rid of that because we're going to create our own form. So when you go to add new, you've got a couple of different options. You can start with a blank form. And you have the luxury of entering fields that you want to, your form to contain. Here we go, first name, maybe you want email, maybe you want a checkbox list, and perhaps a date field and a button to submit, or maybe you want a phone number. So it's up to you. You can basically add and then drag and drop these fields just like that, in the order in which you want them to appear. Now, I'm going to show you more about this stuff later. I'm just going to exit here for now, leave page. Okay, what we're going to do is install or create a simple contact us form for our WordPress website. As you can see, it comes pre-populated, and if you want different fields, just go and use the custom form area that I just showed you, and you'll be able to have different fields in your form. But effectively, I'm just going to hit publish on this. I'm going to show you some of the settings a little bit later. I'm just going to hit publish on it for now. I want to show you how to actually add this form to your WordPress business site or your e-commerce store. Okay, so I've hit publish. I can now close this. I can now go to any page on the website, or let's just add a new page. So I'm going to show you now how to add the form to any page on the website. Okay, so we're just going to create a new page in WordPress pages, add new. And if you're not seeing this visual editor, just use the classic editor plugin. I've done a video on that in another tutorial. It'll just get you back into this view here, which I much prefer as well. So all we need to do is say contact us, for example, then click on the add form button you see over here. That's appearing now because we've installed Ninja Forms. That's a Ninja form integration. So we can select the drop down, and that's the form we just created. Let's hit insert, hit publish. And now I'm just going to open that page that we created with the form. There it is, absolutely perfect. We've got that form existing here. And the reason that's worked is because this thing here known as a shortcode, all right? So this integrates directly with Ninja Forms. If you create more forms, you'll see them in the drop down and you'll be able to add them onto any page. And then that here tells WordPress to add that form onto this page of your WordPress website. Okay, so we've now shown you how to add a form to any page on WordPress. What I now want to show you is how to add the form to any section using Elementor. So if you've followed my previous tutorials on how to create a business website or create an e-commerce website, we'll have used a plugin called Elementor, which is the plugin that allows us to control all of the content on the page and make it really user-friendly. So let's go to the page that we want to add the form on, and let's click on Edit with Elementor. So what you're going to need to do first is navigate to the page where you want to add the form, and then click on Edit with Elementor, because we're editing that particular page. Okay, so now when you're on here, you'll notice the drag and drop components of this thing called Elementor and all the different modules. Watch one of my previous tutorials if you don't know what this is. But I can now add a new section, for example. I can then drag and drop the forms widget, and I'm just going to search for Ninja. There it is, Ninja Forms widget. So I'm going to drag and drop there. Now let me just hit update. Actually, before I do that, let me click on that and just check the settings. There we go. We need to select the form from the drop down. So yep, select one of the forms that we've created in a previous step and then hit apply. And then hit update. Now you can't see that here, but that should have worked. So let me just go to the page in a new window. And there we are, we've successfully added the form using Elementor into a particular section. Now, there are other ways you can do this. You can add this in a smaller section so it doesn't take up so much space, right? So let's say we want to delete this. We want to create a small section where we can add the form. I'm just looking for a place to put it here. You know what we can do? We can actually just click on one of these pre-made modules. We can search for blocks. Let's look for one with a form or contact. Maybe something like this. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to import this block. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is actually add a new section in here. So I'm going to again search for Ninja Forms from Elementor. Now instead of adding it to an entire section, all I'm doing is dragging and dropping this to a smaller subsection. So hopefully the form will appear much smaller. I'm then select the form I want to appear there, click apply. There are other advanced options, but we won't go into that in this tutorial. And then update. Now let's refresh this page and see if that worked as we intended. There we go. Absolutely perfect. So you can now see the flexibility. You can add a form into a particular module. So say you don't want it to take up too much space. Say you just want it in a small module here, or maybe just remove a couple of products and just put it in here somewhere. You know what I mean? It's got the flexibility to be able to do that, to add the form to any section of your e-commerce store or your WordPress website. Last but not least, I want to show you some of the form settings that you can take advantage of. So back into our dashboard, we're going to just exit all the way to the WordPress dashboard. Let's go back to Ninja Forms. Like I said before, you can add a number of types of forms, and also you can add as many as you want, okay? So taking that example, let's just add a couple of things in here. Okay. So if you hover over here, you'll see the settings gear tab, and we can click on that and we can actually select what the label of that field is. So we can just have name, for example. We can toggle whether it's an essential field or not, and therefore the user will not be able to proceed without entering information in that field. There are other values here and that you can mess around with. We're not going to go through that in this tutorial, but you can basically take advantage of that feature very, very easily to be able to make certain fields mandatory. Now in the emails and actions, actually let me just show you this. For example, if you click on a checkbox, you can select what you want to display in that checkbox, etc., etc. If you selected a element for multiple checkboxes, you'd be able to control what those checkboxes say. So it's very, very customizable. Now, like I said, back up here, emails and actions. Do you want to display a success message? That's the message the user sees when they complete the form. You can manage that message. Hit done. When you make any changes, don't forget to click on publish. You can also manage the admin email. So in other words, where do you want this form to be delivered to when it's submitted? Now this is the admin WordPress email. It is the email that you have in your WordPress if you go to settings and general, or you can actually enter your email address here and it will be delivered to that email address. Subject, this is the subject of the email that you receive after somebody fills out that form. So that you know where it's come from. And this, don't change that here. That's just all the data that the person that fills out the form entered when they submitted it. So you'll see the name, the phone number, the comments, and anything else you had in the fields of the form display in this email message to you. And the reply to, I would suggest have the reply to your email address as well, so that when the user hits reply, it replies directly to you. Okay, so when you're done with all that, hit done, and then don't forget to hit publish. And in advance, you've got some options for display settings, such as the title, if you want to clear the form after submitting, and any restrictions that you want to place. Hopefully that gives you a nice idea of how to set up a form on your WordPress website, whether it's a business website, your e-commerce store. If you haven't already, come and check out our other tutorials. And if you have any questions, ask in the comments below, give us a thumbs up, and we'll catch you soon.